I'm 78 years old, and I wasted 60 years trying to be the perfect woman. I thought it would make people love me. It didn't. It just made me disappear. I want to tell you something that will sound familiar, especially if you're the kind of person who tries to do everything right. I spent most of my life trying to be the woman people wouldn't complain about. The woman who's always calm, always polite, always helpful, always put together. The woman who keeps the house clean, keeps her voice soft, keeps her opinions smaller than the room. The woman who smiles even when she's tired. And if you asked people about me, they'd probably say good things. They'd say I'm strong. They'd say I'm sweet. They'd say I'm so reliable. But here's what they wouldn't say. They wouldn't say they knew me. Because the truth is, even I didn't know me. I knew the version of me that worked for other people. I knew the version of me that didn't cause problems. I knew the version of me that kept the peace. And that version cost me 60 years. Let me show you how it happens. Because it doesn't happen overnight. It starts small. It starts when you're young and someone teaches you what a good girl looks like. Good girls don't talk back. Good girls don't take up space. Good girls don't embarrass the family. Good girls don't make people uncomfortable. Good girls are grateful. Good girls are quiet. Good girls don't ask for too much. So you learn early that love is conditional. You learn, if I behave the right way, I'll be safe. If I'm pleasing, I'll be chosen. If I'm perfect, I won't be rejected. And you don't even notice you're making a deal with yourself. You're trading your real self for approval. Then you become an adult and you keep doing it, just in different places. At work, you're the woman who never says no. You take on extra tasks because you don't want to be difficult. In relationships, you become the easy girlfriend, the understanding wife. You swallow your feelings because you don't want to start a fight. With friends, you're the one who listens to everyone else's problems. You give advice, you comfort, you show up, but you never burden anyone with your own truth. And one day, you look up and realize you've built a life that looks good, but doesn't feel like yours. People call that maturity. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's just fear. For me, it was fear. Fear of being seen as too much, fear of being judged, fear of being left, fear of being called selfish. So I became perfect. Perfect hair, perfect manners, perfect patience, perfect silence. And I want you to hear this carefully. Perfection doesn't make you loved. Perfection makes you useful. Because the perfect woman is convenient. She doesn't ask for much. She doesn't complain. She adapts. She forgives fast. She stays calm. She cleans up messes that aren't hers. And yes, people appreciate her, but they don't protect her. They don't take care of her. They just expect her. The moment that broke me didn't look like a movie scene. It was quiet. It was a mirror. I was standing in front of my bathroom mirror one morning, and I was doing the same routine I had done for decades. Brush hair, fix face, put on the "I'm fine" expression. And for a second, I didn't recognize myself. Not because I looked old. Because I looked empty. It wasn't the wrinkles. It was the feeling behind my eyes. I remember thinking, who am I trying to impress today? And then something worse hit me. I didn't have an answer. Because I had been performing for so long it became automatic. I didn't even need an audience anymore. I was policing myself. I was still trying to be perfect even alone. That's when I realized I wasn't living. I was managing. Managing everyone's emotions. Managing everyone's expectations. Managing everyone's comfort. And I had become very good at it. So good that I forgot how to be honest. Then came the day that made it impossible to ignore. I was at a family gathering, nothing fancy, just a meal. I had spent hours preparing. Food done, table set, house clean. I made sure everyone had what they needed. Someone spilled a drink, I cleaned it up. Someone made a comment that stung, I smiled anyway. Someone talked over me, I went quiet. And at the end of the night, everyone left. They hugged me quickly. They said, "Thanks. It was great." And they walked out the door. I stood there in my kitchen, looking at the plates. The crumbs, the mess, and it hit me in a way I can't explain. I felt like a hotel. Like a place people visit and leave. Like I had created comfort for everyone, but nobody had created comfort for me. And I realized something painful. I had trained people to experience me as a service, not as a person, because I never showed them what I wanted. I never asked. I never demanded. I never said, "This matters to me." I was waiting for someone to notice. I was waiting for someone to finally say, "Hey, how are you really doing?" But the perfect woman doesn't need anything, right? That's the lie. The perfect woman is the woman who needs things, but is ashamed to admit it. And shame makes you silent. I wish I could tell you the cost was only emotional. It wasn't. It showed up in my body, tight shoulders, headaches, that tiredness that sleep doesn't fix. It showed up in my relationships. Because when you don't speak your truth, you don't build intimacy, you build distance. People think silence is peace, but silence isn't peace. Silence is postponed honesty, and postponed honesty becomes resentment. I started feeling resentful, quietly. Not screaming, not dramatic, just cold. And the worst part is I didn't even know who to blame, because nobody forced me to be perfect. I chose it. I chose it every time I swallowed a sentence. I chose it every time I said, "It's fine," when it wasn't. I chose it every time I smiled through something that hurt. The moment you realize you did it to yourself, it hurts in a different way. Because you can't even say, "They ruined my life." You have to say, "I gave my life away." I'm not telling you this to shame you. I'm telling you this to save you time. Because I wasted 60 years learning a lesson you can learn today. Here it is. If you spend your life being the version of yourself that keeps everyone comfortable, you will eventually feel like nobody truly loves you. Not because you're unlovable, because nobody ever met the real you. They met your performance. And performances get applause, not care. So what do you do with that? You don't suddenly become rude. You don't become hard. You don't become selfish. You become honest. And honesty is not cruelty. Honesty is clarity. Let me give you the lessons that would have changed my life. Simple lessons. Normal words. Lesson 13: being easy is not the same as being loved. I thought love meant being low maintenance. I thought love meant never needing too much. But people don't love you more because you need less. People love you more when they can actually know you. And they can't know you if you're always playing a role. If you have to earn love by being perfect, it's not love. It's a transaction. Lesson 2: your needs are not an inconvenience. I acted like my needs were a problem. Like my feelings were too much. So I became the woman who never asks for anything. But here's the truth. If someone makes you feel guilty for having basic human needs, they don't love you. They love control. And if you're surrounded by people who punish you for speaking up, you are not safe with them. Lesson 3. The perfect woman is often a lonely woman. That's the part nobody says out loud. People compliment you. They say, "You're amazing. You handle everything. You're so strong." But strength can become a cage. Because the stronger you appear, the less people check on you. They assume you're fine. They assume you don't need support. So you end up alone, even in a room full of people. Less enforcing respect comes from boundaries, not sacrifice. Sacrifice feels noble, but if you sacrifice your voice, your time, your peace, all you get is exhaustion. Boundaries are what teach people how to treat you. Not your patience, not your effort, not how much you do. A boundary can be one sentence. I'm not doing that. I don't like that. I need help. I need rest. I want something different. That's it. And yes, at first it feels terrifying. Because you're used to being the safe version of yourself. But if someone only likes you when you're safey, they don't like you. They like what you provide. Now let me tell you something that might upset some people. The perfect woman often attracts people who benefit from perfection. People who like the house clean, the emotions quiet, the work invisible. People who expect you to keep giving because you always have. And when you stop, they act shocked. Not because you changed, because they lost a privilege. So if you start setting boundaries and someone suddenly calls you selfish, you're not selfish. You're new. And new is uncomfortable for everyone. But especially for people who were enjoying the old version of you. Now, here's the part I wish someone told me when I was young. You don't get a prize at the end for being perfect. Nobody hands you a trophy at 78 and says, "Congratulations. You made everybody comfortable." What you get is a quiet room and a question. Did I live my life, or did I manage everyone else's? That question still haunts me, because I did both. But I did too much managing and not enough living. So I'm going to give you something practical, not a speech, not a quote. A small exercise you can do right now. The 10-second test, don't think too hard. Who are you performing for? A person, a parent, a partner, a boss, the internet, old beliefs. Someone came to mind. Now the next question, what do you do every day just to avoid being judged? Maybe it's staying quiet. Maybe it's over-explaining. Maybe it's keeping the house perfect. Maybe it's pretending you don't care. Maybe it's saying yes when you want to scream no. Now here's the action. Pick one small thing this week where you stop performing. 1. It could be saying no without a long explanation. Wearing what you actually like. Saying, I don't agree. Letting the house be imperfect for a day. Asking for help. Telling the truth when you normally swallow it. Not to be dramatic, to be real, because reality is where life is. Perfection is where life goes to die. I'm 78 years old. And I'm telling you this because I want you to have something I didn't have for a long time. The courage to be a whole person. Not a perfect person. Whole means you have needs. Whole means you have opinions. Whole means you say what you mean. Whole means you stop shrinking to fit someone else's comfort. You don't have to change your whole life today, but you do have to stop lying to yourself. Stop calling it being nice when it's really fear. Stop calling it being mature when it's really silence. Stop calling it love when it's really you trying to earn safety. You are allowed to be seen. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to be honest. And yes, some people will like you less. But the right people, they will finally meet you. And that's worth more than being perfect. If this hit you, write in the comments, I'm done performing for, and finish that sentence. Even if you don't explain it. And if you want more stories like this, simple, honest, and real, subscribe to the Regret Letters. Don't wait 60 years. Because the regret isn't that you weren't perfect. The regret is that you weren't you.